This is 112 Ocean Avenue. So in that photo, you'll see the Amityville house, and I thought with Halloween fast approaching that we would do a horror-inspired build. You know, so of course I picked the Amityville house first because, why wouldn't I? I have to say, I have built this house before in another build, but I didn't record it, so yeah. I just have screenshots of the finished product and nothing else. That one I didn't furnish. I don't remember. I don't think I furnished that one, the first one that I did. So I decided this one I'm going to furnish. And this was actually rather difficult laying out the house because I was going by a bunch of pictures that I found off the web, and the windows are placed in such a way that it's so hard to build houses off the internet in The Sims. It really is. Um, I made the fatal mistake there, as you can see on the other side. I went out one square and then I went over to build the wall. And on the other side, I didn't do that. I just went, straight across. So I ended up with a little bit. It's a little bit off kilter. It's extremely off center in the back, and I was like, I ain't fixing this. I go through a lot of moments here where it's like, oh, this is just not gonna work. This is not going to work. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I think playing around with things so much and trying to get things put where they need to be is so hard. So hard. I envy the people that can just blow through these builds like no tomorrow. Because that's like literally all they do is build and build. But I'll get there someday. So, in keeping with the theme of the house and trying to stick with it, I wanted to stay as accurate as possible, so as photo accurate as possible. And obviously, I have to take some liberty with the inside because we don't have a lot of pictures of the inside of the house now. Um, but in case you have been living under a rock and don't know what the house at 112 Ocean Avenue is and why it would be considered a horror build, is it's the Amityville Horror House. And we all know the story. Do I need to tell you the story? So, George and Kathy Lutz move into the house after 28 days. They flee in terror, claiming some demonic forces like possessing the house, or some demonic entity is haunting it. And it ends up becoming a book that later on they turned into a movie. Captivating story, really is. But the real horror of this whole thing is that prior to them moving in, prior to the Lutzes buying the house and moving in, it was owned by the DeFeo family. And one night, their oldest son took a rifle and shot every member of the family as they were sleeping, supposedly. There's a lot of speculation. I don't know how somebody could fire off a rifle inside a house that many times and not wake anybody up, but that's just me. I really like the way those windows looked in the back, and I do show some pictures of some reference pictures here at the end. And this is where I was like, oh, it's not symmetrical. I got to take out some of the wall. I end up putting back because it ends up messing up the whole back side of the the house. It was a mess, but when I put in the roof up there on the over the back door entrance, I ended up having to replace the window that I had used, or the windows that I had used, because they just weren't going to work anymore. So, and I really liked them, and sadly, but see, I had to put a roof in, and I was like, no, no roof. Wait, I can have a roof. Damn it! So I had to take out the windows, put the roof in. Then I had to find new windows. And I'm like, oh, let's take some of this off, take some of this off. And the back stairs are done in such a way it was really hard to make out what was going on back there with the photos, but and what was even more bizarre, and you'll see this later on in the video, is when I got inside the video. Or inside the video, yeah. 6:30 in the morning, I am beat. But when I got inside the house and I was doing like the dining room and the kitchen and everything, it was like, how do these work? Like, how do these rooms work? They didn't even look like they were in the same house, so yeah, there's that. So I'm just kind of playing with this, and unfortunately, after like 30 minutes in, I had to stop, and I was gonna continue the build video to finish the build, and I don't know, my computer didn't record it and save it, something, I don't know, but I ended up losing like the whole end of the build, like the whole all the rest of everything else. So, um, but I did add the furnishing. We're furnishing the first level, well, most of the first level in this one. We're doing the kitchen, dining room, and living room in this build. So there will be a part two because we need to do the sunroom and the bedrooms upstairs, and we need to do more of the yard. There's a lot of things that like outside that I haven't added, and there's a boathouse and like a there was a pool like many years ago. There was a pool. Now I guess there's not. So I don't know if I'm gonna put in a pool or not. And I chose this lot because it's on the water, and the actual house is like on the Amityville River. Oh, there we go. We're cheating. Cheaters, cheaters, cheaters. There's the codes if you're wondering. You're welcome. So here's the house built. Like, it's done. I told you I flaked it and didn't put in the rest of it. Um, I lost like the whole tail end of the video of like the rest of the build. So that was the house built. And the dormers, I guess they're called dormers in the roof. Those things gave me such a headache. And the worst part about it is there is actually rooms up there. So I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know if this is gonna be accurate or not. I don't know. Right now I'm trying to get the floor plans to work. I'm looking at a picture of the floor plans on my tablet and trying to get the walls to line up, trying to get the walls to work, and it never does. It never does. Like I can never get it to work. If somebody else has a better idea, shoot me a comment because I need to know what the secret is. That's supposed to be a bathroom. And like I had no idea there was a bathroom back there. And I was like, how am I supposed to put a bathroom in here? So I had to do some readjusting and some fancy work. Now, for such a large house, and this is a big house, I'm rather shocked the kitchen would be so small. And I'm not just saying that because, I'm trying to, sim build it, but I, even in the pictures, it doesn't look that big. So, I don't know. I mean, I find it out that kitchen would be so small, and that's a rather large dining room. They could have taken some of that dining room real estate, made a bigger kitchen. But no. I end up having to, like, redo this whole side of the kitchen because, well, you'll see. As I'm doing the dining room, I noticed there's there's stuff missing, and like it just like the floor plan like made no sense. The layout made no sense. So getting dizzy yet? I do that a lot. I spin it a lot. I think this furnishing after the house was completely. I think it took a little over an hour to build, like an hour and a half maybe to build, and then and you only got like 30 minutes of the build, so and then like an hour or more for this. So these take quite a while. This isn't quick. It didn't happen this fast. God bless the internet. God bless tools to be able to, speed your videos up. If you had to sit here and listen to me talk over like 3 hours, I would get really boring. This is probably really boring anyway. uh, oh, I hope not. But this was fun. I used the green counters with the white tops because there's actually a picture of the kitchen online and it had green counters with white tops. So I was like, yeah, I'll use those. And I've never used those colors before. So I kind of like them. And I'm trying to find a wallpaper that I think will complement that green. Um, that's hard because I use like the green flooring, like I think it's linoleum, and finding a wallpaper to complement that green. And as you saw me, zoom in, and I'm like, oh, that one works, good enough, keep going. Now in the dining room, the wallpaper was pink. It was like all pink. Actually, there's a picture at the end of it, so you'll see. And this was as close to the wallpaper I could get, where that brown wainscoting is. That's supposed to be a darker pink, but we don't have that in The Sims. So. And I'm just trying to match the chairs that I saw in the picture. You'll see. I actually end up changing this out too, because yeah, it's funny when you're building because you'll go so far and then you'll be like, oh no, I gotta redo this whole thing, and you end up redoing the whole thing. There wasn't a pink carpet in the original picture, um, and I remember I flipped it around and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this whole section over here? In this corner over here on the other side of the dining room, like there's nothing over here, and I couldn't. I'm looking at the picture and I couldn't figure out what was missing. Why, there is a hutch in the corner in the picture, and I'm like, what am I missing here? Why doesn't this look right? And then here I'm just trying out different hutches and you know seeing which one I like. But it was weird because I was like looking at it and I'm like, what am I missing? And it just kind of looked like, oh, you're seeing. This is kind of where I'm like looking at the picture, going, wait a minute, no. And then I wanted to get rid of that rug. See, and now I'm building another wall. And as you can see, I took a minute. I took a minute to figure out what was wrong with it. So I made some changes to the original floor plan. Now that made the dining room smaller. And that is supposed to go there, according to the picture, because that's supposed to be an archway there. So I got rid of the table and decided to go with a smaller table. Um, Fewer chairs, you know, make it look. It's somewhat like the picture. Anyway, but I'm not gonna remember what chairs I used, so I'm like going through and I'm like, what were those chairs? I should write it down. I don't. So I just picked one. I'm like, that's good. Good enough. But then this is where I had to move everything because I was looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute. Now the entire dining room is like crazily out of whack. So this building is like trial by error. No word of a lie. This difficult stuff, it's not. eh, eh, eh. I decided just to keep that corner of the top cabinets because I didn't want to go all the way around. But, ooh, rug, no. Blowing the rug up like, no, it's a little too big. Oh, no. Keep it normal size. I just carried the wood floor throughout because it was, you know. And now I'm looking for. There's a cream color in the living room in one of the pictures, and I'm like, okay, I gotta find something as close to that as I can. So that's what I ended up going with. The wood floors all the way through. I like that wood floor. I think it looks nice. I think it's one of the nicer ones. What I love about the house, the architecture of this house, is this sitting room is amazing, and it backs the sunroom, and I love how they have the bookcases on either side of the fireplace and the entrances into the sunroom. I think that is amazing. Now I don't know if those are doors that are supposed to go there or if it's just archways, but I put in archways. I thought it looked nicer, more homey, not to be confused with homely. But yeah, that when I was doing this living room and I was looking at that picture at my reference photo, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting the chills kind of because if it's weird, I don't know if it's weird. It is weird. It probably is weird, but it was odd because I was like inside that house. I was, and I was building it. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird feeling, especially when I put the piano in there. It was really weird. Now the sofa that's in there is actually like white with pink flowers. Somebody has a thing for pink, and I couldn't find that, so I thought like this old like older style looking antique furniture would be best. And the chairs in the house are hideous. Oh, excuse me as I yawn. Um, yeah, they're like pink checkerboard. It's weird. And there's the piano. But like I said, looking at that picture and setting up this house, it was like that. This setting up this room, just I, I don't know. I felt that's one thing I need to say about The Sims that I do not like. The end tables. The end tables in this game are horrible. Who is designing those end tables like that? Like they look like twice the size of, the chairs. Now there's a little table and, a couple of chairs sitting over there on that side. And I decided that I would put the chessboard in there, and then I decided against it because I don't know. I wanted the chair because in the photo the chairs are at an angle like that, and I was like, well, I have a little bit more to do inside. Like I want to add plants and things to the inside here, and into the living room and stuff, and the hallway, and I need to do the bathroom downstairs, but there is like a really ugly carpet in there too. I didn't. So I was looking and I'm like, where's the opening for this? Like, how do you get into the living room? And on the blueprint or floor plan rather that I was looking at, it was like looking directly facing the fireplace. And again, in The Sims, it's nothing symmetrical. I don't ask. I get so mad when things are off center. My OCD goes, no, I wasn't ready. So because I was like trying to get that archway to be like, you can see me playing with it like, oh gosh, no. And yeah, so and there was a in the blueprint there was a bar right there. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it there or not because I do have a picture. But there it is. That's the outside of the house. See the dormers? Man. So here's the actual house. This is the back view. There's the living room. Told you, ugly chairs. The other way, looking at the living room. That's the dining room. I was saying about the pink. But here's the blueprint. And then there's some shots of the outside of the house. So check out the blog, link down below. Follow, like, and subscribe. And come back again for the next time when we finish this bad boy, because it's gonna be fun. Happy simming.